The time-space of the infinite primordial space is incredibly fragile before Luo Feng, with the highest level of life and death forces easily tearing open a time travel passage. Luo Feng swiftly departed from the origin continent origin world at incredible speed, and in just a moment, Luo Feng flew out of the entire dark world group. Boom! Luo Feng is flying at super high speed. A world group is an area where many source worlds densely exist, and such places are regarded as prosperous zones, nurturing a large number of innate primordial life. However, between world groups, it is extremely desolate, with hardly any creatures except in a few peculiar environments. And the 3,600 world groups is the area with the most source worlds and the closest distance chosen by the cultivator lords. Compared to those ancestors, my speed is quite fast, but compared to Starlight, it's far inferior. Luo Feng has the experience of traveling with Starlight. Starlight, as if walking on a map, transcends time and space. My traveling speed is too slow. The Blood Crane territory is somewhat troublesome. While traveling, Luo Feng pondered about this opponent. The Blood Crane territory is a relatively small force in the entire infinite primordial space, a force nurtured by a mysterious land. This mysterious land has nurtured numerous creatures. Among them, the three strongest beings are at ancestor level, calling themselves Blood Lord, Crane Lord, and Shadow Lord. The remaining creatures are world-level primordial and even weaker levels. Infinite primordial space has nurtured many ancient existences, but many don't consider themselves part of the innate primordial camp. Luo Feng thought, especially the undying and undying beings, who are detached and are unwilling to get involved in the disputes of the innate primordial camp, like the absolute sphere named Initial, and another absolute cube named Moman. Their forms of existence are similar, both quite peculiar, but Initial considers itself part of the innate primordial and has become one of the 9 emperors. Meanwhile, Moman couldn't care less about the innate primordial camp. There are also many tribes nurtured by mysterious lands. The Blood Crane territory has nurtured the Blood Crane territory clan. The Feather Realm has nurtured the Feather Realm clan, among them the Undying and Undying Feather Emperor. The Giant God Realm has nurtured the Giant God race. The Infinite World has nurtured the Infinite Great Serpent clan. Their strengths vary, but in essence, there's not much difference. However, the first to haven't joined the innate primordial camp, whereas the latter to have become the 2 holy lands of the innate primordial camp. The best food for the Infinite Great Serpent clan is the Source World origin, and the Source World is the home of cultivators. To contend with the cultivator camp, the Infinite Great Serpent clan must leverage the entire innate primordial camp. Although the Giant God Realm doesn't care about the Source World origin, it does care about other resources. Relying solely on absorbing primordial force for growth is too slow. If one forcibly consolidated various forces into the innate primordial camp, they would have fought internally long ago. Luo Feng thought, the Giant God race doesn't like disputes, and can tolerate the Infinite Great Serpent clan. Would other undying and undying existences be willing to bow down before the Infinite Snake Ancestor? After spending more than 10 days, Luo Feng reached the border of the cultivated territory, following invisible life sensing, heading directly towards the Shadow Lord of the Blood Crane territory. Among the Blood Crane territory clan, the Blood Lord is low-key, rarely showing up. The Crane Lord can be considered peaceful, but only the Shadow Lord is the most domineering. Luo Feng had already known about this figure. The one occupying the cultivated territory was led by this Shadow Lord with some of their tribe. Luo Feng stopped in a vast void. Looking from afar, he had already locked onto the location of the Shadow Lord through the life chair mechanism, who at this moment was fused into the vast space, occupying an enormous region. So it is Lord Luo Feng who has arrived. A voice echoed around, "You 8 cultivator lords are occupying a total of 3,600 world groups. Isn't that too greedy? I only took 16 world groups. Is that not excessive?" Shadow Lord of the Blood Crane territory, you have quite the nerve, Luo Feng said. Previously, as the war on the cultivators' side was seemingly losing, the Ice Peak camp and a few other forces took the opportunity to occupy some world groups. But after the war ended, some weaker forces voluntarily retreated. Only a very few were unwilling to withdraw. They all had some reliance. I am also helping you. That voice traveled from different time spaces. Because you occupy too much territory, you provoke the innate primordial camp to act. If you occupied less territory, wouldn't there be much less trouble? Luo Feng coldly surveyed all directions. The opponent's force permeated everywhere. Humph, with a single thought centered around Luo Feng, the vast realm of life and death enveloped all directions, crushing every spacetime, destroying all hidden shadows in the spacetime, forcing these shadows to converge into a massive figure in the distance. It was a towering shadow, with blood-red eyes gazing at Luo Feng. I told you to withdraw before, and you didn't. Luo Feng coldly looked at him. Now you have only one path left. Obediently hand over all the resources you occupied in the cultivated territory, and further compensate with 3 times the resources, and promise never to offend the cultivated territory in the future by a fraction. All the resources I painstakingly seized are to be given to you, along with triple compensation. The vast shadow burst into a peculiar laugh. Hey, interesting, interesting. All those I invaded from other forces, I have never suffered a loss. Lord Luo Feng, with you acting like this, I am very displeased. These 16 world groups seem too few to me now. I want to take over 32 world groups, the vast shadow stated. Otherwise, I will keep an eye on your cultivated territory eternally, attacking again and again, without rest. The voice of the shadow echoed in the surrounding spacetime. I would like to see what your cultivated campsite lords can do to me. The blood-red eyes of the vast shadow were filled with ferocity. Though none of the 3 lords of Blood Crane territory had reached the level of undying and undying, these ancient existences had some life-saving methods. The Shadow Lord, with confidence in his life-saving abilities, behaved so domineeringly and aggressively. Previously bullying some weaker forces, this time he bullied the cultivator camp. Very well, Luo Feng stood there, his gaze turned cold. Boom, centered on Luo Feng, in an instant, a billion blade lights burst out from the surface of his body. All the blade lights locked onto the body of the Shadow Lord through life sensing. In the battles between the 2 major camps, it was the highest intensity duel in the infinite primordial space. Normally, the ancestors played a minimal role, and even the ordinary moves of the cultivator lords like Jin and Mo Man were weak. Only burning the main battle avatars could influence the battle situation. Luo Feng was the same back then. Many ordinary methods were useless. They were annihilated in the face of the multi-layered domains and power of both sides, unable to penetrate the opponent's camp. But now it was one-on-one. Luo Feng's move combined of life and death. Even if it was ordinary among the lords, when it descended on the Shadow Lord, it still made the Shadow Lord feel that innumerable blade lights were cutting and annihilating his body. What move is this? I can't even dodge. The Shadow Lord was somewhat panicked. Even though he mastered the highest level shadow force, making himself like a shadow, capable of merging into spacetime, capable of merging into all things. But the endless blade light of Luo Feng still annihilated all life composition parts of him by chasing down life chain mechanism, leaving the Shadow Lord with nowhere to escape. Truly weak. Luo Feng had just become a lord, faced the intensity of battles between the 2 major camps, and now only found this Shadow Lord too weak. Merge. Numerous forces were annihilated. The Shadow Lord could only merge his life forces with sufficient strength to resist these billion blade lights. Merged, Luo Feng instantly locked onto the enemy. A brilliant blade light flared. Luo Feng struck. With a terrifying slash following the life chain mechanism, the Shadow Lord could not evade and was pierced through the chest by one slash. Even the escaping power was pierced by strands of blade light. The might of Luo Feng's slash was too terrifying, forcibly annihilating this body of the Shadow Lord, leaving behind only some treasures and such. No life core carried. Luo Feng looked at this scene and frowned slightly. This was within his expectations. This was also why he found the Blood Crane territory troublesome. In the infinite primordial space, some ancestor-level existences, they lack the ability of undying and thus have developed other life-saving methods. For example, not carrying their life core, hiding it in extremely hard to find special places. Though in this way, the avatar that acts outside might only have 30% of its strength, but 30% of an ancestor's strength is enough to sweep through all creatures below ancestor, enough to act as they please. The life cores of the 3 lords of Blood Crane territory are all hidden deep within their native Blood Crane territory. No one so far has found their life cores. Swoosh. A wisp of thought descended from afar. A shadow avatar appeared and condensed. It was the avatar of the Shadow Lord. Luo Feng. The Shadow Lord looked at Luo Feng, angrily said, "If you return all my treasures, I might spare you and stop coming to the cultivated territory." Give you the treasures. Luo Feng had already gathered the spoils of war. Most of these spoils of war were the various resources seized from the cultivated territory. You're dreaming. Luo Feng. I won't let it slide. The Shadow Lord was furious. I will come to your cultivated territory again and again, rob again and again, let you never have peace. Everything I lost, I will take back. I heard that to this day, no one has been able to find your life cause deep within the mysterious land of Blood Crane territory and completely wipe you out. Luo Feng looked at the avatar of the Shadow Lord. I would like to give it a try. Just you. The Shadow Lord was disdainful. He was very confident in his strength, very confident in the Blood Crane territory that nurtured him. The power of the mysterious land of Blood Crane territory is far beyond what a few ancestors can match. If you have the guts, just come. The Shadow Lord sneered. After saying that, this wisp of avatar dispersed. Blood Crane territory. Luo Feng knew very well that defeating one avatar of the Shadow Lord was not enough to threaten him. The opponent could breed a new powerful avatar and send it once again. The way to truly deter the opponent is to attack the opponent's lair. I really want to see what is so remarkable about this Blood Crane territory. Luo Feng thought, then tore the space-time passage apart, immediately starting to leave the range of the cultivated territory, heading towards the distant location Blood Crane territory.